Agnes, welcome back to the show. There's a lot of Russian interest in the Middle East on the business side with a lot of products, in particular one that could actually be a little bit of a competition with the American F-35, and that's the Checkmate. Tell us what we're looking at.
After the Russian companies made an assessment for the Middle East market, they found out that there is an increasing demand for fifth generation fighters. That's why Rostec in particular offered the UAE to co-produce subparts of the Su-75 Checkmate fighter in particular.
So they're not only offering the fighter to the Middle East, but also co-production with some factories in the United Arab Emirates, and that could make it a little bit more of an attractive offer for the UAE?
Exactly. In line with Vision 2030 in the UAE aims to get the production to 50% local production of any technology. That's why Russia hit this point and is trying to help to agree with the UAE to co-produce this Checkmate. It held talks with Mubadala. It held talks with Tawazun Economic Council, also with Edge Conglomerate, to co-produce subparts, specifically the composite materials, which Mubadala is very known of, and also the telecommunications.
I know the United Arab Emirates has been interested in the American F-35. Is this a little bit of a switch? Are they interested now on the Russian Checkmate?
Not exactly. This is not a switch. The UAE is holding talks with both parties. It has expressed its interest more than one time, and it went into negotiations and signed also a contract with the US in order to get 50 F-35 fighters. However, there is an issue or concern for the US about the 5G Huawei telecommunications, whereby the Huawei is cooperating with Du in the UAE for telecommunications. And that's why the UAE had suspended the talks and the interest with the US for F-35s in order to settle this matter. Regarding the Su-75 and the Checkmate in particular, since Russia is offering a lot, and especially the co-production in alignment with the Vision 2030, there is really big competition, regardless of the operational effectiveness or anything, noting that the Checkmate is still in its experimental phase. It has not been into the production lines. And to assure how much Russia puts significance on the UAE, Russia made the debut of the Checkmate in MAX 2021 in Russia, and the Checkmate made its first international showcase in the UAE at Dubai Air Show. It was for the first time outside Russia at Dubai in the UAE.
Is this going to be a big competition against the F-35? Should Lockheed Martin be worried?
Of course not. Maybe this is not a competition. This may be just to put pressure on the administration, the US administration, to move forward, regardless of the cooperation with China.
So a little bit of a history lesson with a couple of years ago with Turkey. They were in the F-35 program. They wanted this jet. They went ahead and bought Russian air defense system, the S-400, which prohibited them from moving forward with the F-35 system. Presumably, if a company buys the Checkmate, they can also buy the S-400 air defense system. Is that something that is attractive to the United Arab Emirates?
Maybe. We're not sure yet. However, if this is just a step to put pressure on the US administration, this has been also done earlier by Saudi Arabia for the S-400. When it couldn't get the missile defense and air defense systems from the US, it signed a contract with Russia for S-400 systems. However, Defense News knew lately that this deal was called off, and the KSA lost any interest in S-400 after it got the THAAD, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System. So this may be just a similar step to put pressure to get what they need from the systems from the US.
The United Arab Emirates has no shortage of friends, it looks like, and Russia's selling to the entire Middle East. Are there any other Middle Eastern countries that are interested particularly in Russian equipment?
Yes, it seems that most of the Gulf countries and the Middle East countries are trying to fill in the gaps where they cannot get specific arms from the US or from Western countries, speaking about France and other European countries. They are trying to fill it from the East, speaking about Russia and China. Also, there is also South Korea. They are trying to get systems like Egypt is trying to procure the K9 Thunder, also to co-produce it with with South Korea. And Turkey, they're trying to get some drones from Turkey, some countries. So there is cooperation to fill in the gaps with many other countries.
And Agnes, if I know you'll be covering all those deals every step of the way on defensenews.com. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
The military and defense market is constantly evolving. Stay on top of the latest news with Sightline Media Group's live events. Continue to learn, understand new tools and technologies. We're live. You're on in 3. Defense, government, and industry leaders come together for successful and proven engaging events. You'll gain valuable insight, get the chance to ask questions, all from the comfort of your own home or office. Sign up for our events newsletters and receive alerts for upcoming live streams.